You don't even take care of your child, your parents do. You use YouTube for fame. Your YouTube is a lie. You're really different in person. The next assumption is that you considered adoption. You have done drugs. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I feel like it has been such a long time since I've just sat down and filmed chatting with you guys, and Cartia is asleep upstairs right now, so I felt like this would be the perfect opportunity to just chat and just talk and to do a challenge that I've seen going around on YouTube for a while now. It is called the Assume Things About Me Challenge, and I find it so incredibly interesting to listen to some people hear these assumptions and tell you whether they're true or not. I'm shocked at which ones are actually true about some of these people, some of your favorite YouTubers, and as a teen mom, I feel like I am no stranger to assumptions from strangers. So I thought it would be a really fun thing to ask you guys what you thought about me before you clicked on one of my videos or started watching my channel, and to honestly tell you guys whether those assumptions are true or not. So in all reality, I think this is a really cool challenge to just spread awareness on the idea that we are a pretty judgmental society. I'm guilty of it, and I think you guys can be guilty of it too to some degree. So although the assumptions from this video might be pretty negative, I want this to be a positive video in the sense that we should all be a little bit better about how we judge people. So anyways, let's just get right into what you guys assumed about me. Okay, the first assumption is that you were a beep before you had her. Wow, I feel like this one is the most common assumption people have when they see the word teen mom or they see a really young mom caring for a baby maybe in public, is that that girl must have been a... So yeah, let's talk about this assumption. Honestly, regardless of whether you're a mom or not, I think this isn't a nice assumption to make about anybody in any situation. So I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't want to validate that term. But to give you a little insight, I was with her dad in a committed long-term relationship beforehand and with nobody else. So technically the answer is no, but I definitely don't approve of people thinking that about anybody. The next assumption, you are a bleep now too. Definitely not. I think after you give birth to a human being, you truly realize the power of sexuality and what is really intended for, which not a lot of teenagers like to think about, but that is what it's for. So am I a beep now? Definitely not. If anything, I am way more conservative than I have ever been in my entire life, and I am waiting until marriage. Please don't make fun of me for that decision, but yeah, I decided that a long time ago. You don't even take care of your child, your parents do. I feel like we're tackling another very popular teen parent, young parent assumption, is that you just pop them out and you hand them off to your parents and you really just kind of go on with life like you didn't even have kids, which is definitely not true in my case. It can be true for some, I hate to admit, but not for me. If anything, when I had my daughter, I felt like I had to overcompensate for the fact that I was a teen mom or a really young mom. So if anything, I was really overprotective about letting anyone watch her or take care of her, or even leaving her to go grocery shopping gave me so much anxiety the first few times that I did it. But for the most part, I really didn't even have that option. To add to that assumption, I feel like I have to say that I breastfed my daughter for 1.5 years. So if that doesn't give you an indication of how attached we were and how much time we spent together and just how on top of parenting I really was, I don't know what will. You were a party girl before you had her. I hate to say it, but this assumption was true. None of these assumptions is clumping teen parents into one category at all. This is just for me. But I was definitely in a very exploratory phase in my life before I had Cartia. I had a partying phase and a going out phase and a not listening to my parents phase. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, then you know that I shudder. I shudder thinking about it. Comparing who I was before I was a teen mom to who I am now is like night and day, and I could not feel farther from that person that I was. So yes, I wasn't the best teenager. I was a really good kid, but I went through some really interesting phases in my teenage years. So sadly, this assumption is true. You have done drugs. Back to that exploratory phase in my life. I may or may not have been a very interesting individual. The only reason I'm answering some of these harder assumptions is because I feel like one of my jobs here on YouTube is to definitely talk about the harder things. I mean, being a teen mom is controversial enough. I feel like I'm definitely obligated to be that big sister or that friend to some of you guys that watch me and to talk about the things that are hard too. And during some of the rockier moments of my life, I made some really poor decisions. And if I can share those decisions so that you guys hopefully don't trip and make the same ones that I did, then my job is done, because I think that as human beings, it's really important to storytell and share your experiences and share your mistakes so that we can just collectively go through things together and learn with each other. So that's that. You use YouTube for fame. This one, if you guys have been watching me for a while, then you know that this one is not true. I started my YouTube channel and filmed that first video, please don't go watch it, with only one goal in mind, and that goal was to send a message in a bottle to some pregnant, alone, young, scared girl out there that she wasn't alone, because that's what I was at the time. And I had just found out that I was pregnant and gone through a series of crazy things, and it was a lot to handle, and it was a lot at once, and I realized that there are other girls out there that are going through something really similar, and I felt like I just had to reach out to them and just make a video. I didn't care who saw it, but if one person saw it and felt like they weren't alone, that was all I wanted. It was never for this. It was never for where my channel is today. I'm shocked that there are hundreds of thousands of you guys that even want to listen to what I have to say and that genuinely want to be a part of our little family and our little journey, and it's just so incredibly humbling to me. So doing it for fame was not even the slightest idea in my mind. And it's just crazy the opportunities that have sprouted from this, and just the identity that I've even come to know myself as through filming these videos has been amazing. I never really realized how much I enjoy to storytell, and I enjoy sharing my experiences and helping others and having debates and healthy discussions and topics. I mean, having Cartia really changed me and taught me so much about just discovering who you truly are. And just the idea that even in my hardest times, I was able to pick up this camera and share my mistakes and my lessons learned, and just all the mental breakdowns that you've been here for, but also all the beautiful memories and moments that we've had. It's just been life-changing to share the part of myself that I love the most, the part that my daughter gave me, the me that even on my hardest days I can smile because I know that I have someone that I love unconditionally and that loves me unconditionally through it all. So just genuinely, I love to share that part of myself with you guys. Okay, we just got so deep. Let's get to more tea. The next assumption is that you considered adoption. I have touched on this topic before in a video, and I feel obligated to talk about it because I like discussing things with you guys. So the answer to that is yes, and I feel like any mature person who has an unplanned pregnancy needs to evaluate all the options and all the options that they're comfortable with and all the options that align with your beliefs and what you truly think is right. And when I found out that I was pregnant, it was a huge realization that this isn't about me. This is about an innocent, beautiful baby that I happen to be growing. And so I really had to step back and evaluate what was best for her and what God truly wanted me to do, and that if I could somehow provide everything that she needs and give her the amazing life that she deserves. So I definitely did think about adoption, and I did consider it as an option because that's what I wanted for her, was the best life possible. And finally coming to the conclusion that I was ready to give it all up, to give up everything that I had known up until that point, to learn and to try and become the best parent possible for her, was just the turning point of it all. Your YouTube is a lie. You're really different in person. Okay, so I'm going to be speaking for a lot of YouTubers here, and to some degree this one can be debatable because you truly only see what a YouTuber wants to show you, and that is just a fact. Some YouTubers use that in a good way and some use it in a bad way, and to my defense, I feel like I only want to share the best, most shareable parts of myself and my life with you guys. If I'm having a bad day or I'm in a bad mood or things are just not worthy of truly sharing with you guys and adding positivity to your day, then odds are I'm not going to share it. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that, but that isn't real life. In real life, you don't get to choose what you edit out, and you don't get to choose not to have bad days. So this part of me that you guys get to experience is definitely a part of me. It is me. But at the same time, it's not all of me. There are some really good parts of me that you guys don't know yet, and then there are some parts of me that I have to work on, and that I try to be as honest with you guys as possible, but definitely only in a good way. I like to share things with you guys. You aren't financially stable. I feel like this is another very common teen parent assumption, and this one can also be wrestled with because I wasn't always. When I had her, I had a couple $100s to my name in my savings account, and that was like birthday money. I was truly scraping by. I was shopping at Goodwill for maternity clothes that actually weren't maternity clothes, they were just extra large. And I was shopping the clearance aisles for little things for her. In fact, I still do both of those things today. I shop clearance and try to use my money the right way, but I am definitely financially stable now and in a way better place than I was when I started off. I feel like it's really common and easy to assume this about young parents because most young people aren't financially stable. But if anything, having kids in general is a pretty good incentive to start pinching pennies and saving money and spending your money the right way. So it wasn't always this way. I had to rely on government assistance to feed us and to pay for her birth, which was so hard for me to swallow at the time because I hate handouts and I hate asking for help. But sometimes there is a good way to ask for help and a good way to repay it tenfold and use it to your advantage to genuinely end up giving back in a positive way. So before anyone attacks me for using government assistance, since I am blessed enough to live in the United States, I think that there's a wrong and a right way to use assistance, and I just paid taxes for my first time this year. And don't worry, I paid back a lot more than what I ever borrowed, which is a good thing so that hopefully I can pay into some other young people or people in need that help as well. Okay, so for the final assumption, this one is from another Allie. Allie Bradshaw asked, I assume that you find it hard to stick to your upload schedule and sometimes just want to hang out instead of filming. If you guys are subscribed, then you know that this one is so incredibly true. I value our mental health and just where we are in life so much more than I value our upload schedule. As much as I love uploading for you guys, there are so many things behind the scenes that you guys don't get to see and that can make things hard and difficult, to the point that I don't want to pick up a camera and I don't feel like I'm going to be sharing my true and genuine self with you guys. But at the same time, that definitely goes both ways because during my hardest moments, sometimes I've been inspired to pick up my camera and just share it, just share the real raw moment. And you guys have been nothing but kind and sweet and supportive to me during those times. So it goes both ways. Okay, I feel like that is all the time for assumptions I have today. I hope you guys liked this and we got to poke at some really common assumptions and hopefully tear down the walls of grouping people in one category and just assuming so much about them when you truly don't know them. And the bottom line is that nobody really knows anyone, in person or on YouTube, truly. Because people can sometimes tend to carry themselves the way they want to be perceived, and so I think that goes for social media and it goes for off social media as well. So we should definitely just be better as a society about not assuming things and judging people. But yeah, thank you guys so much for sending in these questions through YouTube and on Instagram. If you haven't already, go and follow me on there. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from us. Don't forget to like the video before you leave, and we will see you guys in our next video.